Back at it again with the whatever. Working on the wiring for this thing, making some semblance of a harness. I'll be the first to admit I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but we're making it work. Cutting out all the unnecessary bits like the battery. You don't need that. Fuck out of here. We got, the stator, rectifier, wired up. Tested the starter. Not sure if I did it right. It just kind of sparked on the battery. That might be a bad sign. Got my... You call that coil unplug? I'm going to call that coil unplug. Got that all hooked up besides the clipped wiring that was cut real damn short. Don't know where the other end of this is, so we're just going to direct wire it. Need a switch somewhere in there. I don't know quite where the switch goes. It goes somewhere, though, but... Otherwise, we'll just have a runner forever. No biggie right there. Still haven't gotten a U-joint for the steering. But, maybe I'll just put a knob on there, call it. Yeah, but back at it. Killing my brain. Yeah. Been, I think, about a day since I've taken a video on this. I've just been... working on some wiring and other things. Got the regulator rectifier all wired to the stator over there. We got the CDI box hooked up to the trigger, whatever tells it to fire thing, which is right behind there. How you doing, Rankles? Been working on chain tension. Tried to buy a number 50 chain. Or number 60 chain, that way too big. Ended up getting 50 sprockets, or an idler and a tensioner. The idler to keep it off the gear shift there, so that make a linkage up for that. Gotta get a spring for the tensioner, but it tensions, kind of. We'll see if this thing kills me. Starter not hooked up, cable's on the way. Other than that, I just got to finish wiring this, and maybe I can start it this week, but at this point we'll see. As long as all these electrical components work. I don't really have too many doubts about if the engine's good or not. I've got a good feeling that it will be. Coils are coils. That's about all I can say about that, but back to work on all the other random whatever. Another thing I figured out with the engine weighting the back so much, you can grab this front tire and spin it. This thing might be a death trap. I think this side's still a little bit, but point being, it don't take much to lift this front. Even when somebody's sitting on that seat, you can still... Feels like maybe 100 pounds on this front. It'll be something, as I've been saying. Whenever this thing's running. All right. Got the tensioner finished up. Got salvaged a brake drum spring from the golf cart. And, oh yeah, look at that. That's tensioning. Now, that should hopefully keep the chain on when going over bumps and just overall flex. But I guess only one way to find out. So if I die, I die. That's the best words to live by right there. Alright, I've been working on this wiring here. As you can see, I put a plate here. Tried, emphasis on the tried to weld it. Ended up just self-tapping it too here. Got the rectifier mounted on there, grounded up, ignored the self-tapper tapping through. CDI box has its own ground wire, which I just ran right back into here. This is definitely one of the more tedious parts, as you can see. I got the coils pretty much wired up besides the power side, which I believe coils always have power, so I think I just need to... Well, one of these wires needs a switch in it. That's what I know for sure. Got a little fancy starting button here. Look at that. Those are for my left over from the LS swap. One of the ones I didn't use. Actually ended up frying one of these buttons because I sent the entire starter signal through the button. Ended up sticking the starter, but that's in the past. That's behind us. But anyways, gonna mount the starter button probably back here somewhere. I'm not sure if I really want to run wires all the way up to the front. Not really much of a panel to mount anything, as you can see. Most likely just gonna have a switch and a button to start it back here. Like I said, every time I need to make sure it's a neutral, otherwise there's a chance of it just kind of might be an issue. But because so far with what I'm doing, there's going to be absolutely no safety precautions. One of the other things I just need to do yet is find a place to mount the battery. I might just make something here and set it here. Got a little lawnmower battery there. Not sure how well that will work. Seems like it should work pretty good. I know it's at 10 volts. I've used it to jumpstart my car a couple times. But other than that, pretty much back to the tedious shit. Gotta put this ground into here and other things like that. But back to wiring. So I got some of the wiring mounted up here. Got the attempt at a starter relay there for that. Not sure if that'll hold. We'll see about that. Got most of the wiring done. Just really need some major components. Need to mount the battery up somewhere and get some switches for it. Really not much left to get this thing running. Just a bunch of cables and whatnot. But other than that, I am calling it a night. It is mucho darko. Alright, got most of the wiring. Got a starter solenoid from a Ford there. Hook that up to the starter. Got the ground set, got the battery with a jank-ass terminal, got the biggest goddamn battery ground frame you've ever seen. Got some switches. That's your ignition, that's your starter button, so. Yeah, I didn't really want to run wires up there. Yeah, you'll have that. Got the other exhaust pipes cut, just working on mounting those and bolting them in. Got it to crank earlier, we'll see. Should be about time for the first start here soon. We'll see how that goes. Got it juiced up. Attach my very safe ground again. Come on, you. Ignition on. Well, she's firing. I'll call that a win. Obviously need to get a fuel tank for it. I'm not sure where to put it. I want to be able to gravity feed it into there, so a little, probably about there. We'll see how that works. Other than that, all seems to be going well. Might end up calling it a night. Got new cables on the way, air filters for all that, so that'll be nice. Pipes are pretty much final location. Besides that, just need to make a cage for it, some protection here, because that scares the absolute hell out of me. I think. Well, probably some floorboards, mud flaps, all that. Seems like everything's going as I planned, which is incredible. That never happens. So I'm psyched. I'm pumped. I'm borderline elated. It's going great. I love it. At it again with the white vans. I guess I cleaned the carbs, so I did that. One of the slides was sticking. How much is that? That don't stick no more. Redoing the tensioner, realized that didn't have enough tension. Getting a bigger spring for that. Got this on here. Got a hole drilled in it. Gonna hook up this, and that's gonna be my shift linkage to run all the way up there. Got the throttle cables, got a clutch cable there. I might actually end up needing 2 throttle cables because I did not realize it had 2 there, which is a little bit of an issue. But we're getting there. But kind of slow progress so far. I've been running low on steam, but other than that, it's moving along. All right, I got my shifter mostly hooked up, as long as you push it the right way. Otherwise, we'll hit that steel there. Might revise that in the future, but I mean, as for now, I don't care. It's hooked up. Got it going from there. Got a bend in it. Coming up here. Hopefully, we don't have any contact between there. I think it should be good. Seems like it'll clear. Especially with the tensioner there. Need to get a bigger spring for that still. This still is the original spring. Electrical's all working. Just need to make sure it's getting proper fuel and everything of that sort. I try and fit those intakes on it before I call it a night, but probably going to call it a night. I think this weekend, not going to be able to do much with it because of Ice Cream Cruise in Omaha, but it'd be sweet if I could bring this. I don't got a trailer. I don't got trailer space for this. Got my LS Swap G37 I got to bring there. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much going to be how it ends for this week. Looking pretty substantial.